Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're checking out something brand new from Jack Wolf Knives, something we've never seen from the brand before. Obviously we've seen slip joints from them more recently, locking models, but this is going to be the first ever Jack Wolf Knives fixed blade. Couldn't be more excited about that. I've been getting really into carrying fixed blades, and in particular small pocketable fixed blades, which is exactly what this falls into. And so before we see the knife, I did want to start by admiring the packaging. A little bit different than the tubes we've become accustomed to with Jack Wolf, and that's because it being a fixed blade, it doesn't fold, so these have to ship in the open position. We also have a much larger sheath, so had to be able to accommodate that. And so I like the solution he came up with. This box is modeled after a graphic novel. When I first saw it, I saw VHS tape, and a lot of other people did as well. But once you get it in hand, flip it around, you can see the graphic novel aspects of it. So let's take a look, starting with the name of the knife here, Midnight Fixed EDC. Fixed EDC is combined into one word for Fixed EDC, but that does imply that this is modeled after the Midnight Jack, which it is. So we'll definitely see a comparison of the two later in the video. We'll also take a look at the After Hours Jack next to them because that one's also modeled after the Midnight Jack. And so artwork this time by Sean Tiffany. Really, really great job. I think it fits that graphic novel theme perfectly. Most of the tube art would kind of transfer over to this medium very well, obviously, but I think this looks great. In particular, you have Jack silhouetted by that huge full moon. Great colorways on it. I think all looks really, really excellent. And this medium actually kind of displays the artwork a little bit better. Usually with the tube, you have to kind of rotate it to see the full image. This, you just see it all kind of right front and center, so a little bit more striking to look at, which is kind of cool. Flipping over to this side, we see Jack Wolf Knives and the website here, and on the back you have a little bit of information about the knife, the story of Jack Wolf Knives that's usually on the box, all of the contact information, an illustration of one of the configurations of knife. Now that doesn't line up necessarily with the one that's in the box, but it is labeled down here on the UPC. One of the coolest Easter eggs about this box though was that spine. And so if we flip this over, this looks like the spine of any book. You have the Jack Wolf logo up top, maybe where the publisher's logo is. The title here, Midnight Fixed EDC, has the name of the knife. Where the author might usually go, we have Jack Wolf Knives. And then this is the cool part, Volume 1. And so when we get more fixed blades, which almost undoubtedly we will in the future, if he's already thinking about labeling them by volume, we'll be able to put them in order by volume 1, 2, 3, and so on. And we'll not look out of place at all on a bookshelf if that's how you choose to store them. And if you choose to store them facing forward, obviously get that artwork nice and front and center on the display. I love displaying the tubes as well, but this will just be kind of a different area that I can display these on. So really, really cool. Not going to get into the interior because you can see pictures of the interior online. Just a laser cut foam that stores all these nice, safe, and secure. But check that out if you're interested. Let's take a look at the knife. So I went with the titanium starburst configuration, and this is the Jack Wolf Knives Midnight Fixed EDC with the titanium starburst handles. Looks incredible. You can see that dark wash on the titanium. Really cool looking milling pattern on here. That's not just cool looking, but adds a ton of grippiness to these covers. We also have that dark blue anodized titanium that matches really well with my Gunslinger Jack. Obviously a different pattern on that one, but that was one of the contributing factors to going with this version versus some of the other versions. So you can see them side by side. Again, slightly different pattern, but same dark blue anodization on the hardware, same dark wash on the titanium scales. I think these pair really nicely together. So as I mentioned earlier, this is definitely going to be a smaller knife at 5.87 inches overall. So we're getting sub 6 inches, which is great for me. If you're looking for a bushcrafter knife, this probably isn't it, but really great for daily carry. We get about 2.92 inches in the handle. I believe that's only measuring the scales here. So if you go all the way up to the ricasso, you're getting about 3 inches. Now what that translates to for me, and probably for most people, is a 3-finger grip with my pinky hanging off of the end here. It is very, very comfortable though. I don't mind that. There's plenty of grip in this handle. Feels great and kind of works in a lot of other positions for a full grip. If you want to get right behind that tip for some of those utility cuts, you can do that. That sits right in the palm of your hand really, really nicely. For whatever reason, in that reverse grip, I am able to get all 4 fingers, so a little bit of extra real estate there if you're in this kind of reverse grip. And so really comfortable handles overall. It is on the smaller side, but if you'd like, you can add a lanyard to have something for your pinky to grip onto. There's a tube here on the back to attach that lanyard to, and if you don't want to thread it through, which can be a pain, you can just remove the scales, loop it around the tube, and then put them back on so you don't have to deal with that. So a really easy option for mounting a lanyard. In terms of that blade, we have a Sheepsfoot style blade, about 2.92 inch or 95 inches, I'm sorry, on the blade, but about 2.5 inches of cutting edge with that sharpening choil. Love the Sheepsfoot style blade on any knife, so this one's no exception. Great swedge at the tip, really nice slim hollow grind that goes down to a super slicey edge, just like any Jack Wolf knife, and S90V on the steel. So this one is going to weigh a little bit more than some of the other variants. I believe this one's around 1.9 ounces. It's only maybe 1/10 of an ounce heavier than some of the other options, but titanium is going to be a little bit heavier, and that does contribute to the overall weight in the sheath as well. So with the sheath, we're looking at 3.5 ounces, and a good opportunity to set this down, take a look at the sheath. But before we do, I did want to take one other look at the tang of this knife. So kind of mimics the back spring that we would see on any of the other knives. So completely flush, really great continuation of what we're used to seeing. And so really happy with that aspect of it as well. Just completely flush, smooth, and just looks so, so good. So let's set that down, take a look at the sheath, a little bit different than what we normally see again because it is a fixed blade. So went with an ambidextrous sheath. This one is made for belt carry. So we have this great belt clip here that's super stout, and you can see that piece of metal going in here, hopefully, that's really gonna lock it into your belt. So when you're pulling this out off your belt, you don't have to worry about gripping the sheath. The knife's gonna come off, the sheath will stay put. Have definitely tested that out in a pants pocket actually. I usually wear most days a pair of 511 Defender pants. I have jeans, I have their like Dickie style pants versions, a couple different versions, but they'll have a mag pocket. This sits in that mag pocket perfectly, clips on nicely to that as well, and you can pull it out one-handed. Now, it is ambidextrous as well, and so that's pretty cool because you can put it in either orientation, which is why the sheath maybe looks a little bit large for the knife. So if you're putting it in this direction, you want to align it with that side of the sheath. If you're putting it in the opposite, just align it with the other side. You don't want to just put it kind of straight down the middle because, as you'll see, the tip will eventually puncture through those edges. So a nice black leather this time around rather than our typical brown leather. Still has that Jack Wolf logo stamped on the front. Nice contrast with the white stitching. And these edges look really, really well done. So not sure if the same person or the same company that's making the other sheaths is making these ones as well, but very well done. Super happy with this. I will still probably make one without a clip. Well, I'm not gonna make it myself, but have one made without a clip so I can just pocket drop it on days where I don't wear pants with that mag pocket, which are few and far between, but occasionally I'm wearing something a little bit dressier and those don't have that pocket, unfortunately. So may make something a little bit slimmer for one orientation that just drops in the pocket, but I think this is a really good option and probably the more universal option of the two. Now, one thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is another nice surprise is the price point on these. Comes in a little bit lower than their slip joints and their locking models at $235. So gonna be a little bit more affordable, another model that maybe people who aren't ready to spend that $300 on these slip joints are willing to check out, and you get a really great knife. Feels amazing in the hand. I think it's beautiful. This dark wash just looks so good to me, especially with that blue titanium. I was considering actually anodizing it when I first told him which one I wanted to go with, maybe trying to get this into some sort of green, turning that hardware black. But once I saw it, there's no way I'm switching it. I just love the way it looks so much. Maybe eventually when it all snail trails out and gets worn out, but for now it's definitely staying as is. But I did promise to show this next to the Midnight Jack, so let's do that now. Get this down on the table, we'll grab our Midnight Jack. Another somewhat surprising thing to me was that the Midnight Jack is going to be a decent bit larger, and so kind of assumed that they were just going to be the same size, but this is a little bit bigger. This one I'm able to get that full 4-finger grip on. The blade is also slightly bigger, so let's try and line those up butt to butt here. And you can see maybe an inch overall length, so not a huge difference, but definitely a difference. You can say the same DNA with that coffin shape handle on here and on our fixed blade looks great. Same sheepsfoot style blade. Obviously we don't need that long pull on the fixed blade, so that's not present, but otherwise very, very similar. Now, we also have the after hours jack, and so this was kind of a cool one to go with for a first fixed blade, because now we have a slip joint, we have a locking model, and we have a fixed blade to compare the three to. And so let's get that one down. That's already a little bit larger than our Midnight jack, so it's going to be significantly larger than our fixed blade. But you can see about the same difference between the Midnight jack slip joint and the after hours jack as there is between the fixed blade version and the slip joint version. And so kind of cool to see all three together. I'll probably end up posting a picture of the three on the Jack Wolf Knives Facebook group. If you're not in that, definitely check it out. A lot of great stuff going on there. It's quickly growing. There's a commemorative coin for the group when it hit 1,000. I think it just hit 2,000 actually. So definitely check that out, but I'll probably post a picture there as well. Now, last but not least is our swag from inside the box. So one thing that's notably absent is the POG. I think that kind of makes sense because POGs were usually stored in tubes and we didn't get a tube this time. So no POG, but we did get a great sticker with different artwork than what we saw on the box. So we get this wicked sharp sticker, and you can see it's got his claw here with band-aids all over it. Pretty funny. Ben was just on Casey's live stream celebrating 20,000 subscribers, and he had band-aids all over his fingers because he got cut up from the knife, just got poked. I think it was actually just one band-aid, but kind of resembles his hand there. And so that was just a little bit of a random coincidence, but great looking sticker, great looking knife. I'm super excited to get more time in with this one. These are going to be available at Blade Show, but they're dropping on June 14th at Authorized Dealers. So I'll put all of that information, including his booth, in the description. So if you are going to make it to Blade Show, you can grab onto one of these. One other thing worth noting is the other configuration. So I have the titanium Starburst. There's 4 configurations available at all the Authorized Dealers. We also get an exclusive this time with Austin over at traditionalpocketknives.com. So that's super exciting and something we may be on the lookout for in the future as well. 4 available at all dealers, 1 exclusive, and that may rotate between all of the dealers, at least all of the ones that want to participate. So excited about that aspect for sure. But outside of the titanium, we have a fat carbon option with the purple haze, which was the first gunslinger I ever got from him, was the purple haze fat carbon. So that's a great option. We also have the return of micarta, which a lot of people have been clamoring for, black linen micarta with a stonewash blade. So that configuration is excellent. I've been very excited to check out the stonewash. So going to be really happy to take a look at that at Blade Show. We have the Ultim version with the blasted and tumbled finish. Ultim's something that you either love or you hate, but if you love it, it looks great. It's skeletonized underneath these scales and you can see right through them. Nice polished Ultim, looks really good. And then you have the exclusive through Traditional Pocket Knives, and that's going to be the abalone handle. I'm going to try my best to buy that one. There's less of it because it's an exclusive, so it's not going to all the dealers. But if I can get one, I'm definitely going to purchase one of those because I think it looks incredible. I love the look of abalone, and it's going to make for a very, very classy looking fixed blade. So be on the lookout for that. Same price for that one as well, $235. So definitely check it out in the description if you're thinking about picking these ones up. But let me know what you think down in the comments. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. They all help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.